Get 15% off the Fullest entire product line with code the Fullest Podcast at checkout. One of the main ingredients in our product line, saffron, has been proven over and over again in clinical double-blind placebo trials to be an effective form of treatment for depression, anxiety, and ADHD. Saffron has been used by many cultures for thousands of years for these purposes, and now the research is here to finally back it up, proving that plant medicines and ancient healing practices can actually be an effective alternative to pharmaceuticals. From caffeine-free latte powders to saffron baths and capsules, there's something for any modern woman looking for ancient healing. Again, that's code the Fullest Podcast at checkout for 15% off. I hope you enjoy your new daily saffron ritual. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Fullest Podcast. I'm your host, Nikki Bostwick, and today's guest is a returning guest, Lauren Goldfaden. If you are not aware of Lauren, she is the co-founder and vice president of sales at Goldfaden MD, which is a prestige skincare line inspired by the coveted in-office dermatology procedures that her father-in-law, Dr. Gary Goldfaden, performs. We did a whole podcast on Goldfaden, and you guys should definitely check it out. And you can even check it out on YouTube because it was filmed and it was a really, really fun episode. But since having her two children, Lauren has taken on two additional roles. She's a mother and the founder of Mini Bloom, which is what we're going to talk about today. And Mini Bloom is a clean, safe, and plant-powered line of essentials designed specifically for children's delicate skin. After years of working in the clean beauty space, Lauren was shocked when she couldn't find nourishing, effective, worry-free products to use on her babies. So she took matters into her own hands, and Mini Bloom was born. Each product is gentle, effective, sustainable, natural, and free of chemical irritants and harmful substances. So if you asked her, she'd call Mini Bloom baby number 3. Hi, Lauren.
Hi, Nikki. Thank you so much for having me. You brought me back many years ago to our in-person taping of our original podcast with Goldfaden, and that was so much fun, and I'm just so happy to be back. So thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I just had such a wonderful time. It was right before my son was born, and he's 4.5 now. So I just can't believe the path that motherhood has taken me and your journey. And I was just so inspired by you. And at the time I was in like a really delicate space where I had the Fullest. So it was technically my first baby. And then I was having a baby and I wasn't sure what I would be like as a mom and like someone who had a career going. Would I want to continue my career? Would I not? I had all these thoughts. And so having that conversation with you was so inspiring, and it stuck with me because you've done so much and you are just such a hardworking woman, but also mother. And I feel like it's almost like you're an expander for me. And we haven't really, talked much, but I think of you often. So it's just really fun to have you on today and talk about Mini Bloom, because we haven't spoken about it, but I obviously use the products, and I'm really excited to kind of get into you launching it because we haven't really even had that conversation. So tell us a little bit about Mini Bloom and how it was born.
Sure. Well, just before I get into that, I feel the same way about you, and I've long admired you. And I think we can collectively say that you can make, both business and motherhood work with a lot of hard work. But yeah, so thank you for that. My goodness. Well, the long and the short of it, just going back, I have been around clean beauty really because of my father-in-law, Dr. G, for, 20 years. And he's such an advocate and has really been a pioneer in carving out space for, clean beauty and really formulas that are birthed out of botanical-based extracts that provide just as much effectiveness as chemicals do for, and that goes into sort of the 40 years of research that he's been working towards in his dermatology practice for many, many years. And so it's been really ingrained in my head. And the idea with Mini Bloom started a very long time ago, really when we were launching Goldfaden MD into market in about 2014. And I was so close to obviously the development of the range and launching it into market and really being the first dermatologist developed naturally inspired skincare range in the industry. And I soon after was pregnant with my daughter, who's now almost 8. And I knew nothing about kids. I didn't babysit when I was younger. I really was, it was like a shot in the dark for me. But the one thing that I was very aware of was the products that I was ingesting, or the foods I was ingesting myself, the products that I was using on my own body when I was pregnant. And as an extension of that, I was sort of one of those like crazy first moms, like everything needed to be organic. And I wanted to make sure that everything that I was using on her was pure and gentle and safe and effective. And, I had very high standards. And when it came time to looking through the personal care product within the baby, children's space, and granted, it's changed a lot in the last, 9-10 years. At that time, it was very sparse. And it was also right around the time that the Honest Company had that huge backlash and they were recalling products. And I think, one thing that was so profound to me is that 95% of the children's products or baby products that existed in the marketplace contained artificial dyes, colors, and fragrances. And every sort of mom that I had asked about what products they use, it was the same consistent thing. You have to use, X, Y, and Z. It smells so delicious. It's wonderful. But I knew, just having launched Goldfaden, the leading skin irritant in adults is artificial colors, fragrances, and dyes. And so I thought this was so ironic that within the personal care product category within baby, this was such a prominent, sort of ingredient that was married throughout a lot of these different products. And so it dawned on me, like, why isn't anyone else producing and creating products that are clean, safe, and effective at home, but also sort of lend to taking out a lot of the research and the guesswork for parents? I think as you become a parent, first time, second time, third time, whatever that is, we are bombarded with so much information. Me being in the beauty space, I was researching so much. And I really thought there's such a need for this. There's a hole in the market. And I want to be able to take what I know and my expertise in the beauty industry and bring it forward through a line that was 100% non-toxic and a brand that could use and utilize the best of the botanical world, but also provide effectiveness to kids and whatever that may look like. And also maintaining sort of this eco-conscious story from all the way from the development to the delivery. And so that is really, it took me a long time. It was call it my side hustle for many years. And we launched Mini Bloom into market just about 2 years ago. So Mini Bloom is really a collection of products. I like to say that it is a line of clean skincare products that is holistically committed to offering high quality, hypoallergenic, nourishing, plant-based botanicals for your children at home. And it really supports parents throughout their journey and the needs. And we launched originally with 4 products. It was sort of the first must-have products that you need when you come home. So a diaper rash cream, a nipple balm for women who may be breastfeeding, and then a 2-in-1 body and hair wash and a detangling conditioner. My daughter came home with a full head of black hair and it just kept getting thicker and longer. And so that was really important in our household. And since then, we've launched a number of products. And now, actually today, we've just launched our new body moisturizer called Silk Milk. So we have 7 SKUs within the range and a lot more to come. And yeah, so that's Mini Bloom. That was long-winded.
No, I loved it. And it's so exciting. And it's true because I think, at this stage, people are becoming more and more aware of clean skincare for themselves. And especially with kids, being more susceptible to toxins, they want the best for their children, especially our listeners, right? Like our listeners are probably like similar journey as you and wanting to be super, super organic about everything, but also they want things that work. And I feel like that's what's really cool about, even products like your Toot Toot Balm. Cause it's like, I didn't know until I had my kids, like how zinc oxide is a great ingredient for that. I mean, I never ended up having kids with diaper rash But I always had that I was like, okay, if that does happen to me, I have a solution that I don't feel bad about because it's, going on such an intimate part. And I love that you guys offer that. So can you tell us more about how zinc oxide works to treat diaper rash?
Yeah, of course. And that's, I think, the foundation of Mini Bloom also. I think being clean and natural is not necessarily synonymous with better for you products. I think that is sort of a discrepancy. And I think that the most important thing when you're developing botanical based products is really to do the testing. And, we have a group of dermatologists that test and develop the products alongside myself and our chemist. There's a huge amount of testing that goes into the products to make sure that obviously they're safe, but they're really effective. And 2,2 Palm is a great example of that. This is really an OTC product, and this is NSF certified organic, but it's also registered with the FDA because it really is a product that was intended to use upon each change of a diaper to help prevent diaper rash, but it also is a treatment for treating existing diaper rash. Just to back up a little bit, the reason that baby skin is so delicate is for many different reasons, but two main reasons. The first is that they don't have any skin barrier function. We as adults create sort of this, I would say, call it like an outer layer shield that shields, our deep layers of dermis, which is the skin layers, against harmful ingredients to penetrate the skin, which can cause a multitude of different things. And babies, just given their state of development, they don't have that. So their skin is it's absorbing everything. It's very sensitive. And the other piece of it is they do not have an enzyme that adults do to help to break down toxins. And so what zinc oxide does, and what it's so prominent for, is it almost serves as like this giant shield or protective barrier for the skin, and it prevents any sort of moisture, bacteria, any sort of harmful items to come into the dermis layers. So it creates sort of this topical shield against the elements that cause diaper rash.
I had no idea that's how it works. I love the science behind it. That's really cool. And you can technically put it right all over your body then? I mean, is that like what we're doing then?
The thing with zinc oxide is that it's a white substance.
Yeah.
And so we do have some customers that have claimed that it's helped with, eczema patches. It's very soothing.
Wow.
But it does have, sort of that white overlay. So as long as it doesn't bother you, I would say it's fine, but it was really intended for
diaper
rash. Exactly.
Okay. What about, I know it's not intended for this, but then let's say you're at the beach and your baby's, can you use it as technically sunscreen, or does it not have like a number?
The thing with the 2,2 Balm is that it's mixed in with so many different hydrating emollients as well to sort of soothe and calm irritated patches. And so we have a sunscreen that also the base of it is zinc oxide called Sunny Stick. And that was really intended for, sunblocking use. But yes, technically speaking, it does have a sunblocking agent towards it, but it's really just intended for the bottoms.
And your sunscreen is like in stick form. Like, tell us a little bit about that and why you chose to do it that way.
Yeah. So I think, listen, I don't know about if maybe I'm siloed in this, but as a mother, I get into fights with my kids about sunscreen. The struggle is real and they run away from me and it's a whole thing. And so I love Sunny Stick. My kids actually love Sunny Stick because they can put it on themselves. It's a very sort of compact handheld stick that was specifically developed for the face, but of course you can put it all over the body. And it has a really nice glide and slip. It does not bleed into your eyes. It's not goopy. It's not sticky. It's not tacky. And so it's very easy to sort of glide on the face area. And the size, because of the compact size, was really intended for kids to be able to start to give that responsibility to them to start applying sunscreen at an early age. And so now I keep the sunscreen in their backpacks. We apply it every single morning before we go to school, and they love it. It's really part of their routine. And so that was, really part of the impetus to be able to provide a glide on stick that was small enough that kids can even use as well as adults. So yes, and this is an SPF 30 stick. It's really just easy, no mess, no frills, mineral sunscreen.
That's so smart. I'm going to have to use that with the kids next time because I've always been the one, like when they were babies, to put it on. But now, I mean, you launched the company like right during COVID or right after?
It was right in the middle of COVID.
Oh my God.
Perfect time.
But yeah,
Um,
like I haven't had that many. I guess my first one was pretty easy with sunscreen. Like he thinks it's fun, but it's so smart. I need to do that with my daughter.
Yeah, I feel like every time I get the opportunity to give them the onus or put the onus back on them about being responsible, it just works much better for everyone involved. And they love it. They love that responsibility.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a part of, I don't know if you're aware of like RIE parenting, respectful infant parenting, and like so forth. But I really love that because it's really about giving them opportunities to find some independence, but that's also like managed. Like you're not just giving them this whole bottle of sunscreen spray that they're going to spray everywhere. Like this is really, like you said, it's like a way to stay responsible, but it's like a container that you created for them so that it works. And it's obviously something only a mom who's been in the situation could come up with, rather than like so many other companies who aren't, that aren't run by mothers that have like firsthand experience. And that it's such a unique experience that you do, already being in the skincare industry. So I want to talk about, launching a brand during like mid COVID. Like, did you,
Oh my gosh, Nick.
I guess I feel like for a brand like that, there's so many COVID babies. Did that affect any sales, like in a good way?
I think it was positive in a couple ways. Well, first off, I don't know if there's ever like the right time to launch. And don't get me wrong, I had 100 different conversations about it. Like we are launching in the middle of a global pandemic. What are we doing? What's happening? But I had been working on it for so long that I was so excited to get the brand finally launched and out there. And I didn't want to wait any longer. And it actually worked out to our advantage. I think from a standpoint of clean, better for you products, that was really heightened in COVID. And everyone was making sacrifices in some way to bring in healthier, more wellness-oriented products into their life and into their home because of this spread of COVID, really. And so, the clean beauty movement in particular everyone was so laser focused on it that it helped for Mini Bloom to launch, because rather than, just sticking with clean, better for you products to be used as adults, really the foundation and emphasis was starting from the beginning, because why not? You didn't have to make those sacrifices anymore. And so the positioning of the brand was very much in sync and in line with where people's headspace was across the board and on a global level, because we launched here in the US as well as in Europe. And it was really symbiotic across the board. And then the second piece, yes, I think there are so many COVID babies, and that coupled with, sort of this desire to start using clean, better for you products from the beginning was really the perfect storm for making sure that the launch was successful and thereon. So I think the challenge that we have now is, I think our customers and our community want more from Mini Bloom. And so we have so many new products coming out in the pipeline, but we can't move fast enough. So it's been really good. The, response has been so positive, and there's really a need for this. So I think for those two reasons, it was great. I think the negative side of it was, we were not able to do a lot in person, right? I think a lot of times, at least I know for myself, I want to feel connected to brands beyond the product. And we are so involved with eventing and, partnering with retail partners on certain initiatives. And so that was non-existent, but that's coming back now. So thankfully, I think the digital age and different platforms opportunities are endless, which was really great. But those are sort of the pros and cons for COVID, for sure.
Hey everyone, I want to talk about high luxury lab grown diamonds. I've always been into the real thing, and I still love the real thing, but there are issues with it depending on who you're buying from. So I've known about lab grown diamonds again, like I haven't found a brand that spoke to me until I found Orinel. They're a high luxury lab grown diamond atelier. And what I love about it is the founder, Nicole, comes from a family that's been in craftsmanship of high jewelry for a long time. So she's using her background and her family's background to create this beautiful, sustainable, and transparent company. And they specialize in custom engagement rings, other pieces of bespoke jewelry. They're working on lots of shapes, even completely custom cuts, as well as vibrant canary yellow diamonds and other colors. The whole ethos of Orinel Atelier is that for jewelry to be a symbol of joy and celebrating life, it must be a labor of love from its inception, which means we completely avoid minds and middlemen in all aspects of the supply chain while maintaining the unparalleled standards of craftsmanship that have defined the last century of luxury diamond jewels. Deeply committed to the integrity and the uniqueness of their craft, Orinel designs, sources, and handcrafts all of their jewels in their family-run atelier in the diamond capital of the world, Antwerp, Belgium, working alongside the world's greatest and most storied craftspeople. The exceptionally rare quality of their lab-grown diamonds is the cornerstone of the Orinel mission. They accept 0.01% of the world's diamonds in their atelier, and they're fully traceable and 100% climate neutral. To achieve the play of light that makes superior diamonds shine maximally, Orinel craftsmen cut and polish each facet with breathtaking precision. The diamonds are then individually positioned by hand in bespoke settings to illuminate each facet and create the extraordinary brilliance that's to come to define the work of Orinel. Definitely check them out. I'm really excited to be working with them. Be sure to check out our podcast show notes together so that you can get our custom link and take a look at their entire lineup of high jewelry. Hi everyone, I want to tell you about Jen, who I recently met. She's the founder of Blue Jay Bikes, and I met her for a ride along, and I was so impressed with the company. They fully won me over, and my husband and I, who were not previously sold on e-bikes at all, decided to get a set for our family. These e-bikes are not only gorgeous with more color combinations than any other e-bike on the market, but they also have top-of-the-line tech and safety features. Blue Jay is design obsessed and strives to fit every lifestyle, offering add-on options like beautiful woven baskets, children's seats, and coffee cup holders. We have the children's seat add-on as well as a trailer ride for my 4-year-old son Truth to ride on behind us. I love that it gives our family the opportunity to be outside together without the kids tiring out. I also love the fact that it's a pedal assist bike rather than having a full throttle that I saw was a problem with other e-bikes because they were too fast and dangerous. With a Blue Jay bike, it's easier than ever to choose a bike instead of a car, get fresh air, and create effortless and fun routines and moments that inspire you. Life is short, enjoy the ride. If you've ever considered purchasing an e-bike, now's the time. We're offering our listeners 10% off their Blue Jay order with free shipping and assembly using our exclusive code Nikki10.
Yeah, and I feel like as a brand, I love what you just said. You want more from any brand. I feel like the type of brand that you're building, it's not just about the products, obviously. Like you're sharing so much more about motherhood. And I feel like you do such a great job on the Daily Bloom too. Because I think right now there's just so much information for moms in general to access on everything from like sleep to swaddling to nutrition. But I think, those things are all over the place. So having one brand that you really trust and you really trust their philosophy too. So it's not just like, okay, this person or this blogger, it's really this company that, like you guys say in general, it's like rooted in nature, but backed by science. And that goes beyond just products, right? It's a philosophy that you can then like read more. So tell us more about the Daily Bloom and just like what your hope is for Mini Bloom in general as you go on to like build out the product line. Because it sounds like, you're in doing so much to build this community, which I love that, and something that we like to do on the Fullest too.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I definitely think, Nikki, you've been such an inspiration to me. And I think that building community is really the foundation of a brand, in my opinion, regardless of what vertical you're in, because it's really digging in deep into the brand's philosophy and sharing information. Really, I think as parents, there is so much information out there. We're bombarded by information. There's so many different opinions, and it's very difficult. Nowadays, people talk about, challenges a lot more, whether it be with friends or strangers or family. But in the past, I think a lot of times parents and families have really hidden, deep-rooted issues or challenges or questions in and of themselves. And it's just, we need to get it out there and create a space that is safe. It's non-biased. And so the effort for Mini Bloom was twofold. It was the launch of a product collection, but it was also the launch of an information and a resource hub in hopes to provide added value information to parents that will support them through the different challenges that they have through parenthood. So the Daily Bloom is a space, really a platform that we utilize in a couple of different ways. One, we have had the opportunity to interview tremendous amount of different experts, whether it be, in food or psychology or schools, et cetera, just to, interview them and gain some, sort of added value advice in their world. We offer, different recipes and, go-to shopping lists and all sorts of different things. And I think it's really nice as a parent to read unbiased information, and take away what you want or click on what's applicable to you and move on from what's not. And we don't have, I think Mini Bloom, I want to be unbiased. This is a community that is for everybody. And that's what the Daily Bloom was really intended and what we've sought out to do.
I love that. And as a mom, you have now multiple roles. You're still with Goldfaden, right?
Yes. Oh my gosh, Nikki.
How are you surviving? I need to know. This is like my favorite subject.
I'm such a list builder and I'm very type A by nature. I am slightly OCD and I love lists. But listen, no one can do it all. I do my best every single day. I thrive off of regimen and I'm up at like 5 a.m. every day. I really try to compartmentalize my day where I'm getting what needs to be done in the morning. I like to spend my mornings with my kids, have breakfast with them, get them ready for school. And then I just really go right into work. And I really utilize that time. I sort of have this idea that if you're able to focus 100% on what you're doing and without sort of the outside noise during that time, it really helps to catapult you to get through what you need to be done. So when I'm with my kids, I don't have my phone on me. I'm not thinking about work. I'm 100% there. Granted, that changes every once in a while, but that's sort of my motto. And that is also true in work. And I would say that I have an incredible team too. It's not just me. And I think collectively, surrounding yourself with people that you admire, you look up to, and outsourcing. Someone told me a long time ago, if you can't do it 100% and this is not your wheelhouse, outsource it. And, I really stayed true to following that because, I'm not a web developer, for example, and it would take me 17 hours to get something done that, a web developer would take an hour for. So I think just looking at what your strengths and weaknesses are and trying to fill those gaps is really important and has certainly led to the success I've had just on a daily basis and list building and trying to prioritize, certain things and just being prepared. But aside from that, I'm really like a health guru. I believe in, sleep and water intake, and I believe in movement every day and just making sure that you're taking care of yourself because as mothers, as parents, but as mothers, really, I think once you become degraded, in any form, you can't be your best self in any capacity with any other element of your life. And so I think as long as you're taking care of yourself, you can really, put your best foot forward and work and as a friend, as a wife, as a parent. And I think that that's really the foundation of success, at least for me, what I found to be successful.
I love that. And are you going into an office or are you like dropping them off at school and then going back? Obviously things have changed with COVID. So I'm curious how things are running over at Mini Bloom and Goldfaden because things are always changing. And then also, when do you work out? Because you wake up at 5. Do you work out before the kids eat or do you work out later in the day?
So I usually work out in the mornings, like after I drop them off at the bus for an hour. I try like at least 4 days a week. And we have an office that I go to a couple times a week. And I really, in COVID, we couldn't go into our offices, right? And so I changed one of my rooms in the house to an office. And now that the kids are in school, it's a very sort of zen place for me to work. And I find it to be really therapeutic. I get a lot done at home. So I don't mind working from home, but on certain days, I certainly go into the office, and our team is very flexible. So we get together a couple times a week, and the other times, people now prefer to work at home. So I'm okay with that as long as we're getting everything done.
That's exactly what we do. We used to do like 4 days, then it was 2 days. Now it's once a week. We just like regroup and then we go and do our thing. It's nice as a mom because I feel like you get a lot done, but then there's certain things that are really nice to be in person together with. So I love asking people that question.
It's all about the balance, right, Nikki? It's like we're constantly, and it's changing. It's ever changing as well.
It's so crazy. And also as the kids grow up, it's different, like I felt like I was in this like great groove where I completely agree with you. It's like 4-hour work day, 4-day work week. Like I drop my older son off at his preschool, and then I would go into the office. We'd get a bunch done in 4 hours, go pick him up at 1. And then I was like with him for the most part and answering emails here and there. But then like my second one was born. So it like changed, and now she's not in like a preschool or anything. So I feel like it's nice, the ebb and flow of it all, but it's also really nice. I love having a routine and a rhythm and regimen. But right now it feels really good for us to be in office 1 or 2 days a week. So I love that works for you too. And
as soon as I feel like we're in a groove, wherever that is, it changes again. So yeah. I think you have to be open to change too. I've learned.
Yeah. So what's one philosophy or piece of advice that you hold into tough times to center you? I mean, you kind of shared that a little bit. I completely agree. Just like taking care of yourself as a mom, but there's so much chaos that happens and kids get sick and there's plans, like work plans that need to get canceled. Like, what do you do during that chaos?
To be honest, I think that it's really looking at what's best for your family. And I sort of ground that in the basis of all the decisions that are made. And it goes both with what's happening, to your point, like if a child's sick and I'm supposed to go to a big work event, and if I don't have coverage, like it's more important for me to be home. It just is. And the work thing can get rescheduled, or there's different coverage options. But I think that I go back to that, what's good for your family so much. And I think it's also just probably what leads that is just I think, pressure that we have or that we put on ourselves from society on, what you should be doing or what someone else is doing. And that may not be what's best for your family. And so I try to use that as sort of my grounding station for everything and really looking at what's best for the family and what's best for the kids, ultimately. I think that's really important, and it helps to push out outside noise, pressure, and it sort of mitigates the back and forth that you have internally with yourself on, whether or not you're making the right decision or not. So as long as it's sort of rooted and grounded in what's best for you, I find that to be sort of a mainstay that I try to stick with for sure. And taking care of yourself, I think mentally and your family. So those are my sort of two pieces that I think are really important for ultimate success, really.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like when I think of a high functioning mother, I automatically think of you. I'm pretty sure you're the most high functioning mother and working woman I know. And I've interviewed and met a lot of women, but I feel that when I talk to you, and what I love about it is not just like you're just high functioning, it's you're also just feel so grounded and balanced and you get so much done. And I just really appreciate what you've brought into my own life, the possibilities, and also just sharing with us like your journey, because it really helps, so many of our listeners who are considering maybe starting a career or have a really wonderful career and want a family and also are in this space of wanting to bring something into the world that's not there, that's really
great, that they believe is great, and this calling to do this, right? Because being an entrepreneur is really, you feel this calling. And so I just want you to know I love you. I'm so glad we got to catch up, and I really am so excited to see what is in store for Mini Bloom and all the SKUs you guys are launching. So keep us in the loop and let us know, and how people can like reach out to you or connect with Mini Bloom, or where to find it.
Well, thank you so much for having me on. This has been, I just adore you, and I equally admire everything that you've done. And yes, I would say go onto our website at minibloom.com. You can follow us at on Instagram, minibloombaby.com. And I actually respond to, any questions that come through on that channel specifically. So you can go ahead and ask me if you have any further questions. You can also write into our site at contact@minibloom.com, and one of us will get back to you for anything that may be needed.
And also, Lauren has been so kind to offer Fullest listeners a discount. So for 15% off your Mini Bloom order, use code FULLEST15 at checkout.
Amazing. Well, yes, and also enjoy the new body moisturizer that's now available.
I know, so exciting. I'll have to go on and check out. Also, this sunscreen stick is brilliant, and I forgot, like I need to buy like 1 million of those, because it's like one of those things that you need in each purse and then each like pouch that you have for travel and whatnot. So I'm really excited about that, because I know I have one somewhere, but I'm going to get one for like on the go, just day to day.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Nikki, for everything, and I look forward to seeing you soon.